Now to a story you'll see only here on Western Mass News. We continue to dig deeper into the background of Joseph Gulluni Jr., who appeared in Worcester District Court today. Authorities accused the cousin of the Hampden County DA of setting a house on fire in Palmer. We've also learned he served time in state prison for 7 years, according to his lawyer. Western Mass News reporter James Villalobos spoke exclusively with the family of the victim in an attack that they say was at the hands of Gulluni, and he joins us live in studio with what they had to say. James.
Well, Chris, we have uncovered that Gulluni has also been found guilty of operating under the influence and assault and battery on an officer in recent years. But now a family member of one of his victims in an attack that took place in 1994 is speaking out, saying she feels it's important that the public know how he damaged their family beyond measure. Wanting to be only identified as Michelle, she was just a young girl when she says her dad was approached by Joseph Gulluni Jr. and another man on Main Street in Indian Orchard. The pair proceeded to assault her dad with a baseball bat, the daughter saying he used a racial slur when he did so.
He was in and out of consciousness, and we were trying to talk to him to keep him awake. There was blood everywhere. Like I said, my mom was telling us to get towels to try and put the towels on his head to stop the bleeding.
Michelle tells Western Mass News she thought her dad was going to die and his life was affected for years to come.
He wasn't able to work, all his medical complications, his relationship with my mother changed. And even his ability to support himself now is substantially different than what it was then.
She says that when she heard that now the same man who assaulted her father is accused of setting a house on fire in Palmer, the hair on the back of her neck stood up. She immediately became concerned for the alleged victims of that fire and how this may change their lives.
It was such a substantial loss. Like, my father's had such a loss in functioning, his ability to support his family, the way our family was, after that incident was totally different.
But in court on Wednesday, Gulluni's attorney Daniel Kelly says his prior history shouldn't be used against him.
You're not dealing with that same person. You're dealing with someone who's seated before you today, who is a father, who's a business owner, who's in his 60s, a much different person than his record. I think his record could be read differently. I think his record should be read as a redemption story. This is someone who did a lengthy state prison sentence in his 20s, got out, and made himself three kids, a house, several businesses, very successful. His record should not be used as a detriment. It should be used as a beacon of light on behalf of the person that Mr. Gulluni is.
Michelle says, however, that while she hopes that may be the case, it doesn't take away from the fact that her dad has a fractured skull, a broken eardrum, and a traumatic brain injury, among other things.
I would be happy to believe that, but unfortunately the reality of the situation as it stands is, even if there has been some change, we're still in this situation with the same individual who's accused of a heinous crime, and it's just as heinous as what my father went through.
Michelle's dad is still alive and feeling the effects of that attack, but she says she wanted to share his story because they feel it's been one of survival along with his kids. In terms of what's next for Gulluni, a judge ruled today to have him held without bail. He is scheduled to appear in Worcester District Court again on September 13th. James Villalobos, Western Mass News.